When a moment crosses in front of you, that's when you know you have to get off the sidelines and you have to do something. You have to speak out.
It got a lot of attention, not just in Colorado, but across the country. It had a lasting impact on bringing awareness about the issue of gay marriage.
At the center of all of this was about the couples who loved each other and wanted to marry each other. And really, why should we put any barriers in the way of people who want to bring more love into this world?
I didn't think it would ever happen in my lifetime that I'd be able to marry the one I love.
Issuing the licenses definitely was not something that I'd planned ahead of time by any means. Two guys from Colorado Springs came to the office, Dave McCord, Dave Zamora, and they wanted a marriage license. So I did not issue the license to them immediately. I said I would have to find out if I could do it. I wasn't sure. An assistant district attorney named Bill Wise played an integral role in this because he did issue an opinion to me that the marriage code at the time did not specify that a marriage had to be between a man and a woman. So Bill said, if you want to do this, you can do it. It's your decision. My thinking at the time really was based purely on the principle of equality. And so when two gay men came to me and asked for a marriage license, I felt if I'm asking for equality, how can I deny that to somebody else? So I issued that license. And of course, it immediately got a lot of press attention. It spread nationwide and even worldwide.
I was a college student when Kalila issued the first licenses. It was an extraordinary thing for those of us who were in our early 20s to see someone step up, someone in local public office, and make a statement like this and to start this whole process of bringing equality to everyone.
I had mail coming in and calls coming in. There were some pro and a lot that were con. So I was editorialized against in a very, very wide way. The local Boulder paper had a strong editorial against me. After I issued the marriage licenses, there was immediate response about trying to recall me. I knew that I would never be reelected for a second term. There just was no question about that. It was hard to leave because I did feel kind of driven out of town even. It had been very stressful. I was a single parent on top of it all. And indeed, you know, it was not an easy time. There's no question about it.
The continuing battle over same-sex marriage here in Colorado.
And as the Colorado Court of Appeals denies the Attorney General's motion.
So when I first became the Boulder County Clerk and Recorder, I was very much aware of the history that Kalila Rorex had started in our county by issuing the same-sex marriage licenses. When new rulings would come out about same-sex marriages in other states and in other jurisdictions, we would take a moment and review and see, was there anything applicable that would give us the right to start issuing those licenses. Up until 2014, none of the cases really applied to us, and most of them were based on really technical decisions that were specific to the case that had been brought. When we saw that the 10th Circuit had made a decision, I immediately contacted the county attorney's office and we implemented our review as we had planned ahead of time. They decided we really did have the ability to act on the decision. One of the real striking differences with the 10th Circuit was that it declared marriage as a fundamental right. So we started issuing licenses that very day. We issued 2 at the very end of the day.
We have our marriage license. And we have, this was on the front page of the Daily Camera the next day, so it's a picture of us. There was the phone call from Ann Noonan, who was president of the Out Boulder board at the time saying Hillary Hall is issuing same-sex marriage licenses. You've got to get down there.
I was excited yet kind of angry that it had to come down to this, that we had to make a quick decision, even though we've talked about it. But we decided, yeah, we're going to go do it.
You know, we didn't know what it meant, but we knew that we wanted to be involved in this process and to make a political statement. And I remember that when we actually signed it and they said, okay, you're officially married, you burst into tears.
Yeah.
And you were just like overcome.
Yeah.
The first ruling on October 7th felt great when everyone in the state of Colorado could issue them. But the one that really just I still think so fondly of is the one that came actually almost a year later to the date that we started issuing licenses on June 24th, when the Supreme Court made a ruling that same-sex marriage licenses are legal everywhere in the United States.
I kind of pinch myself like, oh my God, we're married. This is marriage. Marriage. And I would go back all the way to my childhood and remember thinking this was not going to be something I would have.
The National Park Service, which kind of oversees historic preservation activities by the states, had put out a theme study on LGBTQ historic places. And Colorado was not very well represented in that theme study. And so our office then started to do research on what might be some places that we could easily point to having important roles in local LGBTQ history. So the Downtown Boulder Historic District was listed in the National Register in the 1980s, really in recognition for its commercial history and its architectural value. And the courthouse, beautiful in its own right, was part of that district. This additional layer of history, which is usually how history tends to work, is in multiple layers, we thought it was important to recognize it individually for its history associated with LGBTQ history.
It was a reminder that this action in 1975, as long ago as that was, still held out a moment of history for the LGBTQ community to be proud of.
It's a huge honor that the Boulder County Courthouse is being designated in this way. It's such an honor for us to serve and to be a part of, on the trailblazing forefront of pushing for equal rights for our LGBT community members and for everyone.
The designation of the courthouse really symbolizes what our community stands for and Clela's leadership in recognizing that love is love, and she needed to take a stand for that. I think that's something we pride ourselves on in Boulder County.
This designation really causes a ripple effect out into the county and to the world around good things happening, and hopefully it'll inspire others to do good stuff as they go forward.